Hello and good morning, Blue Jays fans, and welcome to a victorious day here on Jays Latest. We are all happy to have what's going on with this Toronto Blue Jays team and cannot say enough good things. But here we are, gonna step up to the plate and have some fun. So, trade rumors and everything, going on as the Blue Jays obviously are doing as good as they are. They're finding ways to win and keep even increasing their lead in first place as of last night, and there's just great things going on all around. So, what are the Blue Jays possibly doing to improve this team? Well, Major League Baseball beat writers and whatnot are reporting that the Blue Jays have been linked to finding package deals so far on the trade deadline talks. So, as they're trying to recruit players, they're trying to trade things in bunches. I think part of this is if they're feeling like that they're going to have to part with somebody like Arjun Namala or Trey Savage or one of their other higher end top prospects or a pile of their top prospects, they want to make sure they're getting the best bang for their buck. So this could be things like we talked about yesterday with Greg Soto and Ramon Laureano. It could be Zach Gallen and Josh Naylor. It could be those kind of things. But it sounds like the Toronto Blue Jays are in the ballpark of trying to trade, like I said, multiple assets to get multiple assets. It does make sense. The blockbuster deal for something like this could really transform the team. This could be something in how we felt like in 2015, or it could just be enough to sprinkle a little bit on top for this Blue Jays team. But areas of need, the offense has been doing the offense, so maybe that's not as big of a deal as it would. But if you had another bat that comes in like Josh Naylor, you're definitely not going to be having a problem. He's one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball. We know Suarez would be a great one to steal away from the Yankees and keep on a Blue Jay blue. Not going to be cheap to that point. But there is some things like that, and I think the Arizona Diamondbacks are still going to be the biggest one that the Blue Jays are going to target. And it's just because they have too many pieces that are going to be potentially moving at the end of the season anyways. So why not get something out of it when they're really kind of in the middle right now? So they've been playing better baseball of late. So that's the other thing. One team that I'm starting to think that actually is not going to be a seller regardless of reports is the Cleveland Guardians. They have been on fire of late. Really storming the front in that, American League Central, and the Tigers have been doing great, but they haven't been doing what the Tigers were doing over the last couple of weeks. So maybe there's some blood in the water there that they're going to go after, but to that point, Cleveland is not out of it. So my curiosities are piqued on what they're going to do here in the next few weeks. But there's also these things like that. There's always teams like the White Sox, the Rockies, so on and so forth. I still don't know what the hell the Angels are going to do. They would be a nice team up for some of these multiplayer deals if you were able to get Reed Detmeyers and a bat. Taylor Ward has been linked to some things too. So there's just a lot going on, Blue Jays fans, at this trade deadline, and I think there's going to be enough here for the Blue Jays to steal something. But the biggest thing is whatever they do actually helps them out regardless, because whatever it does is it takes away something that the Yankees are trying to steal. Hottest team in baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays, have been beating up on them, but it doesn't mean they're going to be like this forever. So I think there's something there. I really do. I think the Blue Jays need to steal something away from the Yankees at a minimum. So either way, clubhouse is rocking, the stadium is rocking. Skydome is now the Thunderdome, is what it kind of feels like. So good deal. So let's talk that game yesterday, because wow, the Yankees really didn't want this one apparently. 4 errors in one game, and the Blue Jays capitalized on runs on pretty much every opportunity they were given. Vlad Jr. going 2 for 5 with a couple RBIs and a double. It just kept going. Bo Bichette had the home run, but they were all after errors. I'll give you the one for Bo Bichette near the end of this game. Cody Bellinger in right field last night literally lost the ball in the twilight, basically. So he goes up and he gives you the worst thing any outfielder will ever experience is the where in the world did it go? And in the midst of that, the ball lands like literally 20 feet behind him. So it was just kind of crazy that that's the piece that ended up happening. And then right 2 seconds afterwards, Bo Bichette hits one that most batters would have no right in actually hitting out of the ballpark. Gets the Blue Jays that nice cherry on the top and puts this over the top. So it's amazing to me watching what is a first place team by Michael Kay and many Yankees standards, watching them kick the ball around like this, because it was bad. 4 errors in a game leading to 400 runs, I think, at the end of the day. Now, they actually credit those all as earned runs, but 2 of them not. So, really crazy that's how apparently scorebooks work these days, but that's besides the point. 7 errors in the series. It's only a 3-game series, party people. If this is what the Yankees think they're going to be able to limp into the playoffs with and somehow compete with these other teams that have snuck up and done what they're doing, I think they got a big problem. Even Jason Dominguez kicked one last night that Henry Clement ended up taking for a triple. They didn't count that one as an error either. That's the funnier thing. So is what it is. But at the end of the night, Chris Bassett was the workhorse last night. He might have given up 3 home runs last night between Judge, Volpe, and Dominguez. But Chris Bassett was great. I agree with a lot of Blue Jays fans that maybe he shouldn't have been pitching Aaron Judge that late in the game, especially when it at the time tied up this ball game. Yeah, Blue Jays fans, if you didn't watch last night, this was a not jumping to an 8-4 victory. It was slowly getting to that point. The Blue Jays scoring 2 runs consecutively between the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th inning. But right there in the thick of that, in the 6th, Aaron Judge put this thing right back where it needed to be for Yankees to have a chance to win. And they still found a way to kick ball after that, and that's when the Bo Bichette home run happened. So, just wild. So, but Miles Straw coming up with probably the biggest clutch hit of this game. Very impressive. I loved watching it. He hooked this ball right down the left field line and just got the Blue Jays on top of it. So, let's talk what this does going forward. So, those Yankees, gaffes, errors, whatever you want to call them, yips, led to the Blue Jays actually clinching the season series against the New York Yankees. So if this comes down to the thick of it now, the Yankees lost more than just another game in the standings yesterday, as the Blue Jays improved to 4 games above them in the division. They lost the fact that if they are tied at the end of this season, the Blue Jays by default win the division. So there you go. Awesome win. Cannot say enough good things about it, but the Blue Jays obviously capitalizing on that and running around with it, so keeps things moving. So what's next outside of trade rumor here, trade rumor there, and hopefully getting somebody like Zach Gallen on the cheap because he's had a little bit of a rough time. I just think that Zach Gallen would instantly return with this team and re-sign, and he'd be a heck of a player to have on this team. We're going to have Eric Lawler versus Reese Olson as the Blue Jays head to Detroit. I have a strange feeling all you folks in Windsor are going to be causing some rival mayhem like it used to be in the 80s down in Detroit. Make those road trips for the weekend and have a good time. Be safe. Enjoy. But Eric Lawler will be on the mound for the Blue Jays against Reese Olson. Reese Olson has been incredible. 63 innings so far, 2.71 ERA, and has not allowed more than 2 runs in his last 3 starts. Obviously not a lot of length there, being a youngling. He's only 25, but he has found a way to do great things for the Detroit Tigers with a current 4-3 record in 12 starts. 61 strikeouts, which is pretty good in those innings. He'll be facing Eric Lawler, who is the Blue Jays' similar success story at 5-2 with a 2.8 ERA in 15 starts, a 5-2 record. And Eric Lawler has also not allowed more than 2 runs in his outings. As against the Giants, White Sox, and Angels, he's allowed 2 earned runs in each of those, while we're averaging around 6 or 7 strikeouts and basically 5 innings of work, 6 innings of work. So that'll be the Blue Jays as they take on the Detroit Tigers over the weekend. Both teams currently are 60-win teams. So there you go. Blue Jays technically were the first one in the American League to get that 60th win. So it'll be good. So on that note, like I said, safe travels. And I hope you all have a chance to make that home field advantage for the Blue Jays in Detroit. Travel well as we always do, and enjoy and good things, and go Blue Jays.